Hey Cougars, it's Mr. Franklin, and in this video, we're going to learn our hand signals for this unit's vocabulary. Just keep in mind, these are meant to help you remember the words. They're also meant to connect you to the word's meaning. So let's jump into it. So our first word that we have is final. Final means at the end. So something happens first and then something happens at the end. So final, okay? So everybody try that. Final, and say it, final. Okay. The next word, so if you notice in your packet, we're starting at the bottom and working our way up. So the next word up on our list is initial. Initial. So initial means at the beginning, at the very first. So we often are very interested in what happened at the beginning and what happened at the end. And sometimes we'll make the middle be the end and all that kind of stuff. So we need to make sure we're really clear what we're talking about. So initial is initial. Initial, it happened first. And then final, it happened after. So initial, final. Our next word is oscillation. Oscillation. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your arm and you're going to swing it. Okay. Now, an oscillation is actually one complete swing. So that's one oscillation. 1, 2, 3 oscillations. So oscillation is just swing the arm. Oscillation. So you might try saying that as well. Oscillation. Okay, so we've got oscillation, we've got initial and final. Next is period. So period is the time of one swing. So we're going to have our stopwatch in our hand and we're going to time the oscillation. So we're going to start the time and then end the time when we get to the end. Okay. So period, oscillation, initial, final. Analysis. So analysis, we're going to make the OK symbol, kind of use it like a magnifying glass, and we're going to look carefully at the data. And we're going to analyze. We're going to do some analysis of what's going on. So analysis. Period. Oscillation. Initial. Final. Next one is hypothesis. What would be a good one for hypothesis? So a hypothesis is a proposed explanation based on limited evidence. So we're thinking and we think, I think this is what this is. So this is a pretty good one for hypothesis. Okay. Analysis. Period. Oscillation. Initial. Final. Control. So this one's going to involve, we're going to do 3 different words on our left hand. So it might be reversed in the camera, but you need to use your, this is my right hand, this is my left hand, and you're going to make basically an L like this with your hand. So this is going to be a graph. So you've got the x-axis and you've got the y-axis. Amazing. So control are the things that we want to keep the same every time we do an experiment so that we're not affecting the things we're really looking at. Okay, so we're going to control it. We're going to grab those things and not let them mess up what's going on with the rest of our experiment. So this is control because we're going to control some things. Okay, so control. Hypothesis. Analysis. Period. Oscillation. What's next? Initial, and then final. After control, so controlling things is the dependent variable. So the dependent variable depends on something else. So dependent variable is going to be on the y-axis, and it depends on what's going to be on the x-axis. So this is going to be dependent variable because it depends. Okay, it only happens we're going to graph it in the y, so up and down. So we're going to graph it in the y, but it's going to depend on something. Okay, so dependent variable, control, hypothesis, analysis, period, oscillation, initial, final, Next one is independent variables. So you're going to put something into the experiment. So we're going to put something into the experiment, independent variable. It actually happens to, it's kind of the wrong hand, but it's the sign language I. So it goes into the experiment, okay, on the x-axis when we graph it. And it's going to cause something to happen with our dependent variable. And now we have a control, okay? And before we actually get there, we're going to make a hypothesis related to that. I think this is what's going to happen. Then we're going to analyze those variables and see what's actually going on. And it might involve timing the period, okay, for one oscillation. And we might look at what happened first and what happened second, initial and final. Next one is accuracy. Okay, so accuracy means we're looking for a measurement. So we're measuring something. We're in our experiment, there is a set value. So for example, this marker has a set length. We know we know we could actually find really close what its actual length is. Okay, so accuracy is I'm going to find the actual one. So let's pretend this is us making our measurements, and our target is our middle joint here of our middle finger. Okay, and I'm going to measure 5 times to make sure I get it right. But when I do so, I only get one of my measurements right. Okay, so all the other fingers can be wherever you want to put it, but one of them goes on that middle knuckle because it's accurate. Okay, so accuracy, because that's the one we want. Okay, now precision. So we're going to go ahead and do the next one. Precision is I measure everything. I measure 5 times and I get the same answer every time. I'm being precise because I'm being careful with my measurements. So I get, this is 1 centimeter long. It's not 1 centimeter long, but every time I measure it, I get it that way because I'm doing something wrong, but I'm doing it the same way. I'm being precise, not accurate, but precise. Now, as a scientist, what do we want? We want precision. Precision's first. We should always look for precision first, because then we can get to accuracy. Okay, so the dream would be to have all of my measurements in the right place, right? So we would have precision and accuracy. So this is precision and accuracy. This is precision. This would be precision, where all of my measurements match up. Precision, precision, precision. Precision and accuracy. Accuracy, accuracy. Or maybe I only got 3 that are accurate. Okay, so accuracy. One of them is correct. Okay, so precision, accuracy, independent variable, dependent variable, control, hypothesis, analysis. Let's see, what's next? Period, oscillation, initial, final. Okay, the next 2 are related to how we describe the world, how we measure the world, types of describing, types of measurement. And the first one is quantitative, which is, we get the root word is quantity, okay? And that's where we get our idea of quantum mechanics, okay? So what quantitative means, it means has to do with numbers and specific units, okay? Because we're going to pick our scale. So using miles is very different than using meters, okay? So, but it also has to have a number. So quantitative, what we're going to do is we're going to make the sign language in, okay? So right hand, make the number 2. If you make the number 2, okay, make the number 2, and then you wrap your fingers around your thumb, sign language in, because quantitative has an in the spelling, okay? But you can flash your number 2 because you have a number. So quantitative, quantitative. Okay, the next one is qualitative. The qualitative is we're going to compare the length of our finger against the length of our thumb, okay? And we would say our finger is longer than our thumb. So a qualitative description would be, well, my finger's longer than my thumb. So there's not a number associated with it, but I'm able to describe what's going on. Okay. If you actually do it with your left hand, you can unfold that and you've got the letter L. So qualitative. Okay. So qualitative, qualitative. So qualitative, quantitative, independent variable, dependent variable, control, hypothesis, analysis, period, oscillation, initial, final. Oh, keep forgetting the important ones. Accuracy, precision, and accuracy and precision, or precision. Okay, so practice those. Just remember, the purpose of doing that is to help you remember what the definitions mean, as much as give you something to anchor yourself as you're trying to memorize and study these words. So if you come up with some good hand gestures, please share them with me. I'll be happy to consider using those if you come up with something even better than what I've got. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video.